Resurgence was just added to the game this past week, and while it was supposed to be just a test until the 20th of December, we have it here until the new year. So I figured it would now be a pretty good time to give my thoughts on it as a top-ranked Legend player. To be honest, I've heard a lot of polarizing takes from everyone around all the ranks in SUPERVIVE and thought it would be a good idea to give my 2 cents on the topic. If you don't know what Resurgence is, pretty much whenever a player dies on the first day, a respawn timer begins ticking above everyone's head on their team. Once the timer runs up, the player is respawned into the game in the sky above their teammate that they were spectating. This mechanic ends after the conclusion of Night 1, where all respawn beacons around the map then become available. Today, I'm going to break this down regarding my opinions for new players, ranked, and then scrim and pro play. So let's get to it. Originally, this change was meant for new players as a way to get through the early game faster, skipping a good portion of the PvE elements of the game. By giving people easier opportunities to res their teammates, it incentivizes players to be less scared of fighting early and lets them be more active as a result. To be honest, I think this is really good for brand new players as it lets them get more reps in with less risk of total failure, but I have to admit I'm a bit ignorant where I am with the game right now since I am a top ranked player and I'm not new. When you combine this change with the changes to armors that allow you to upgrade your armor by doing damage to enemy players, it simplifies the game a lot and makes it more enjoyable with less steps when games are more chaotic, which I really like since it doesn't really change higher level play either as much in my opinion. Sometimes though, I do read the comments of newer players stating that it takes out all consequences of dying early in the game, stating that it doesn't really matter if you die early. I can say with confidence that this definitely is not true when playing against the best players, but this opinion comes from a newer lens of the game. So I do think while Resurgence is a bandage fix for problems newer players have with the game, I know that there needs to be a better way of teaching players to take the right steps to win the game from more than just an aim better perspective, but a macro perspective as well. Quests do a really good job pointing players in the right direction, but there is still room for Theorycraft to expand on this idea in the game to make the game more approachable, which is their current goal right now. Here is where I have to ask you all though, if you are newer or can easily recall when you first started the game, put a comment below on what you wish you could have had in the client to teach you, and I'll send this over to the devs. But let's get talking about how Resurgence changes ranked. Personally, I really enjoy ranked with Resurgence in the game. I love how I can actually get more mechanical practice and see more teams more frequently. That being said, it is so hard to track all the individual ranked points I am or am not getting each game. Most of the time, I'm just running into fights for the sake of running into fights. To be fair, this is something I was kind of already doing before the changes and is more of a problem with a low player count and a wide skill gap over just Resurgence every lobby. Overall, I do enjoy that I find more people and that they are more willing to take fights in higher ranks. Ranked feels more fun as a result, and the only thing that is really stopping me from not playing ranked at a higher level is that there's just no real incentive to play ranked over scrims or arena to improve right now, which I know they are working on right now. The current ranked gameplay loop is to drop, get level 4, get your Vault Hunter's quest completed, hit a UAV, and run over teams, which to be honest is simple and gets you into the PvP action quickly, which I can't complain, it's super fun. But I can also see where some people do have some problems with it, which we'll talk about how to solve those problems after this next portion where we talk about scrims. Now in scrims is when I start recognizing the problems with Resurgence. Competitive play versus ranked will always be different, and I am sure that this is similar to the experience in ranked for most people, since in ranked you are probably playing with people of similar skill that haven't been playing the game for years just like you. In scrims, while there still is a pretty wide disparity of skill at the moment, you can definitely tell the difference between playing with and without Resurgence. When Resurgence is active, it is simply harder to get teams out of the game. This means that when the circle gets smaller, it becomes more of an all-out brawl than it used to be, which can sometimes increase the amount of RNG based on the behavior of teams around you. It isn't very often that I notice the difference of Resurgence of the armor changes in scrims, but it is clear that teams are not afraid to fight early anymore. But because it is so hard to eliminate people, teams don't really chase as a result either. You can get your pick, hit your objective, and keep trying to get stronger, which makes some compositions inherently worse than others in my opinion. To be honest though, I don't think it is horrible. I know other pros hate the system, system, but I do think that it brings more positives than negatives to the overall game across most skill distributions. There is now a meaningful reason for players to play to get kills outside of just seeing the funny number go up on the top right of their screen, whether it be ranked points or points in a tournament. But now I have to give my suggestions to improve the system. Right now it just sounds like I'm straight glazing the devs. The first suggestion I do have for the devs, and you can all tell me if you agree or disagree in the comments below, is that even if the tests show that this isn't great to have every game, I definitely think it should at least be a storm shift. For example, imagine if luxury goods was replaced with a resurgence storm shift. That would be insane, and I know a lot of players would like that. I'm not sure if this is entirely necessary, but it would be very cool. The other suggestion I would have is to take a look at fine-tuning the game and the mechanics around Resurgence. I honestly do not think it is bad to have the first day of SuperVive be less risky for new players, but I definitely think there are a lot of convoluted parts to the system. It's hard to take down teams, and the ranked points are just super complicated. I think something cool to try is that if there is only one person left in a squad on day 1 or night 1, they could be marked on the map like a most wanted player, which would allow squads to track them down or at least know where they are when they respawn, so that it is not as risk-free to fight, which might be a little counterintuitive to what the system is trying to solve, but I'm just the guy that plays games, I don't make them. Oh yeah, and by the way, that sound stuff on the map where you can see people, where you can't even hear them, just straight up take it out. I'd rather just not be able to know where someone is based on what I can hear than being able to just see everyone on the map, not gonna lie. All right, y'all, I know this video was a bit rambly, but to be honest, I just wanted to open up some discussion about this topic and what we all think about it, since, you know, we are all getting some time off for the holidays and have more time to do some internet yapping. So yeah, let me know what you guys all think about the changes and what you want to see from the devs. Have a happy holiday season, but until next time, I've got to peace out and Paz out. I'll see you in the next one.